I still remember the exact moment my mother looked me in the eyes and said the words that broke something deep inside me. "You've always been too difficult to love." She said it so calmly, like she was commenting on the weather. I was 28 years old, sitting across from her at her kitchen table, trying to help her organize her bills. And just like that, the little girl in me who had spent years trying to earn her love, finally gave up. My name is Sophia, and for most of my life, I was the daughter who was never quite right. Too emotional. Too sensitive. Too opinionated. Too much. At least that's how my mother saw me. My younger sister, Claire, was the easy one, the golden child who smiled at the right times and never asked for too much. I was the storm. But even storms get tired. I had spent years calling her every week, showing up for every holiday, biting my tongue when she criticized my career, my weight, my choice in partners. I thought if I just loved her hard enough, one day she would finally see me. One day she would say, "I'm proud of you." That day never came. Instead, she told me I was too difficult to love, and something inside me went very, very quiet. A few months later, I discovered that my mother was about to make the biggest financial mistake of her life. She had found a wonderful investment opportunity, a private retirement fund that promised huge returns. Her entire life savings, her pension, and the house she had paid off over 30 years were all going into it. I knew it was a scam. I had seen the red flags immediately. But this time, I didn't say a word. Pause. I just smiled softly and said, "If you think it's a good idea, Mom, then I trust you." The weeks that followed were some of the hardest of my life. Every time I visited her, she was more excited. She showed me brochures with smiling retirees on yachts. She told me how this investment was finally going to give her the peaceful retirement she deserved. The retirement, she said, she could never have because she spent so many years dealing with me. Those words kept echoing in my head. Too difficult to love. I would lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling, feeling torn apart. Part of me, the daughter who still loved her, screamed to warn her. To protect her. To stop her from destroying herself. But the other part, the part that had been rejected, dismissed, and emotionally abandoned for years, stayed silent. I watched her sign the papers. I sat right beside her at the lawyer's office when she transferred everything. My hands were shaking under the table, but my face remained calm. When the lawyer asked if she was sure, she looked at me with this proud little smile, like she was proving she was still in control. And I said nothing. My sister called me one evening, panicked. She had heard rumors about the company. "Sophia, we have to stop her," she cried. I took a deep breath and replied, "She's a grown woman, Claire. She made her choice. We should respect it." The guilt was eating me alive. Some nights I cried so hard I couldn't breathe. I questioned if I was becoming cruel. If I was just as cold as she had always accused me of being. But every time the guilt became too heavy, I remembered all the times she made me feel worthless. All the birthdays where she forgot me. All the times she compared me to my sister. All the times she told me I was the reason her life was so hard. She had spent years chipping away at my heart. Now, quietly, I was stepping back and letting her face the consequences of her own decisions. The investment fund collapsed exactly as I expected. Within 4 months, everything was gone. The savings. The retirement. Even the house was at risk. And I let it happen. When the truth finally hit her, my mother called me in the middle of the night, completely shattered. "Sophia, it's all gone. Everything. What am I going to do?" Her voice was small and broken, nothing like the strong, critical woman I had known my whole life. For the first time, she sounded like she needed me. I sat on the edge of my bed, holding the phone with tears running down my face. Not tears of victory, but tears of release. I know, Mom, I said gently. I saw it coming. There was a long silence. You knew, she whispered. Why didn't you stop me? I closed my eyes and spoke the truth I had carried for months. Because you told me I was too difficult to love. And for the first time in my life, I decided to stop proving you wrong. I decided to stop protecting someone who never protected my heart. She cried on the phone for nearly 20 minutes. She apologized. She said she was scared. She said she didn't know how she would survive. And for the first time, I didn't rush in to fix it. I helped her in small ways after that, practical things, like finding financial counseling, but I no longer broke myself trying to earn her love. I set boundaries. I protected my peace. In the end, my mother lost almost everything financially. But I gained something far more valuable. I finally learned that I am not too difficult to love. I was simply surrounded by someone who didn't know how to love me properly. And sometimes, the most powerful revenge isn't loud. It isn't cruel. It's quiet. It's choosing to stop saving people who never valued you in the first place. If you've ever been told you're too much, too emotional, too sensitive, too difficult, I want you to hear this. You are not too much. The right people will never ask you to become smaller so they can love you. They will simply make space for all of you. I'm Sophia, and this was my quiet revenge. Thank you for watching. If this story touched you, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, your peace is worth protecting.